Here to discuss is FBI Director Kash Patel. Mr. Director, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Where does this investigation tonight stand?
Well, first and foremost, our prayers to the family of the fallen soldier and our prayers to the family of hopefully this individual who continues to recover. This is a sprawling international terrorism investigation that the FBI is leading out on, and we are making sure to work with our interagency partners, and I've already issued dozens of pieces of legal processes, dozens of devices, already hit 2 houses and interviewed many individuals associated with the subject, and that investigation is going to continue on to anyone and everyone this person ever spoke to. We're not going to leave any stone unturned. We're going to collect the evidence. We're going to hand it off to our partners at DOJ and make sure he's prosecuted to the full extent of the law, and anyone else that was responsible for this vicious, heinous attack will be held to the same account.
Now, today, the DHS Secretary, Noem, suggested that the suspect was radicalized here in the United States. What more can you tell us? Because that's what our viewers want to learn a lot about.
Yes, and we'll speak to that publicly in our documents in court. That is a very much ongoing piece of our investigation, where and how he was radicalized, and we're working with our partners at DHS and everywhere else to make sure we speak in court with crystal clarity and unity, and we'll be doing so soon.
And the vetting process, Mr. Director, we raised red flags about this back in 2021 on the angle, but that OIG report from 2022 says there were serious issues with the ability to vet Afghan refugees after that botched pullout from Afghanistan. And one bill has already been introduced in Congress would mandate that all refugees be re-vetted. Do you think that is a good idea? Your reaction tonight to that?
You hit it on the head. The problem with this case shows the emblematic failure of the Biden administration to vet anyone who came here from Afghanistan after the disastrous withdrawal. Zero. It's not like people were even partially vetted. They refused to do so. So it now falls to us in this administration to make sure we vet every single person that came in here legally or illegally or otherwise, and make sure there is no derogatory or criminal information or terrorist ties. And we are going to do that mission.
And, Mr. Director, another big issue that is concerning Americans, and it involves the refugee community, but in Minnesota, is the Treasury Department's investigation of that massive fraud there in the Somali community. So how is the FBI working that, and what can you tell us tonight, given the plethora of reporting and the defensive posture of both the mayor and the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz?
What I can tell you is the FBI let out on an investigation, and we publicized it months ago. We've got 78 people that have been arrested pursuant to our investigation along with the interagency, and that investigation is very much ongoing. We are not finished. It was one of the largest fraud scams ever committed in the state of Minnesota history, and we are going to continue to interview and subpoena anyone involved with this case. It is very much ongoing and live.
There are a lot of foreign interests that seem to be causing trouble in the United States. And I know the FBI today announced that Chinese national pled guilty to smuggling dangerous pathogens into Michigan. And a student at the University of Michigan, that individual has been deported, a Chinese national. My question is, it seems like kind of a slap on the wrist deporting her back to China. A lot of people on social media wondering, why didn't she do jail time, or did you seek jail time here for her? Given the danger, potential danger, sir, to our food supply if this pathogen got out?
Look, I can only speak to the FBI's mission, and we've already arrested her along with multiple other individuals, including as recently as this past week, on related charges. And we're going to continue to arrest those individuals, and how the State Department and others deal with that matter is something that I would defer to them on.
Yeah, and Mr. Director, Democrats, and I know you know this, some never Trump Republicans, are salivating over a new report first obtained by the New York Post. Miranda Devine, she came on last night, talked about it, that takes aim at the FBI under your leadership and that of your deputy, Dan Bongino. So you had current, some former FBI staffers, all anonymous, put together this 115-page report. And now there was some very positive stuff in there, but the overall read was that the agency had become rudderless and that you're more focused on your social media than doing your job. Now, I assume that these are just bitter deep staters, but What is your general reaction to these concerns raised about the state of the FBI 10 months into the Trump administration, part 2?
Yeah, look, anonymous sources always lie, results don't. I'll get to the results in a second. These anonymous sources were individuals from the Comey Ray era that weaponized the Department of Justice and cratered the public trust in the FBI to something that was at levels that have never been seen. 35% public trust in the FBI when we came in 10 months ago. And now we're to believe that these anonymous sources are the ones accusing this FBI, the most successful in history, of being rudderless. Let's just look at the results. If we were so rudderless and we sent our mission out into the country and around the world, how would we have arrested 25,000 violent felons this year alone? That's twice as many as last year alone. How would we have arrested 35% more spies from Russia, China, and Iran than last year alone? How would we have found 6,000 children and identified them? That's up 22% from last year alone. We have taken down criminal networks and those that wish to do harm to our children. We have arrested in the 764 category, the Nihilist Violence Extremist Network, a 590% increase on those who wish to prey on our children. Those are just some examples, and I haven't even gotten to the monumental success on fentanyl, where we shut off precursors from China and have seized enough fentanyl, 22% increase this year alone, enough to kill 127 million Americans. We're crushing violent crime. We're defending the homeland. When Dan and I got here, it was a rudderless ship. But we re-executed this mission. We defanged the weaponization that corrupted it. We jettisoned those like these anonymous sources in this reporting, and all they have to talk about is anonymous sources and jackets and leather patches. They can have that all day long. The mission of this FBI is to serve the American people, and we are doing it at a level that has never been done before because of the leadership we have here, and thanks to President Trump's sweeping victory that demanded this place be rid of weaponization and put it back on a course to prosecuting criminals, investigating criminals, and putting away terrorists. And that's what we are doing every single day here.
You mentioned the thing about the patches and the gossipy stuff, which I know you laughed it off on Twitter, but on X. But they're saying, oh, he refused to get off the plane in Utah after Charlie Kirk's assassination because he wanted a better fitting FBI raid jacket. Is that true? And does fashion really make the man, Kash?
It's 100% false. As you know, look, Laura, sadly, I was at 9/11 at Ground Zero in New York City on 9/11 because I was a White House representative honoring those victims and their names being read. You were very familiar with that. Then we made the immediate decision after Charlie got shot in the neck to fly to Utah unexpectedly to lead the manhunt to find the perpetrator in less than 33 hours because the FBI cut video, put it out in a press conference, and these people are worried about what I was wearing and what patches I was wearing. I was honoring my men and women at the FBI. One of my agents handed me a jacket and said, hey, boss, you should probably wear this. We're going into the command center. I said I'd be honored to wear that. And then another one handed me the SWAT team badge of the unit that was protecting the area where Charlie was assassinated. I wore that with pride. These people can talk about my appearances all they want, but look at the